Hello, today we are going to be looking at Arduino potentiometers, and these potentiometers can help us make a voltage reader. There's actually two main things that potentiometers do. So the first thing it can do is serve as a variable resistance, and what this can do is it can change the resistance from like 0 ohms all the way to like 10,000 ohms for this one. And the way you can do this is by attaching this little thing right here, and what it does is that when you turn up the dial clockwise, it turns it up to the max voltage of 10,000 ohms, and if you turn it left, it turns it down to 0 ohms. Now the second thing you can use it for is to make it a variable voltage, and this is the one we're going to be looking at today, because variable voltage can actually make us a little oscilloscope that we can basically it's really cool, because once we hook this up to an Arduino, we can see the voltage as we turn the dial in real time. So let's get started. So first we'll need a few things. Just your Arduino, or you can use a third party such as Elgu. The Arduino is an open source software, and it's also open source hardware. So other companies such as Elgu can create copies. Any hardware that has the word Uno on it that looks like this, it will work for this project. So you'll need one Elgu, 3 wires, and then one potentiometer. And this one has a 10K resistance, and you see these 3 pins right here. As long as it has 3 pins in total, it'll work. These 3 just happen to be assorted in this way, but they can also be on one side only. Okay, let's get started. So I got my breadboard right here, and what we're going to do is we're going to connect this potentiometer to the breadboard by putting it one end on one side of the half and the other 2 into the other side. And as you can see here, I am going to just gently squeeze it onto the board by shaking it back and forth to make sure that it fits in correctly. Once it's firmly in and you can see that it's straight, we can start with the second part. So what we're going to do is we're going to get our first wire, and this is going to go onto the side that has the 1-pin connector. And if you have one with all 3 pins on one side, it's going to be the middle one. And what the middle one does is it basically sends out information to the Arduino about what kind of voltage it's reading. For the variable voltage, what we're going to do is you're going to send one, it's going to read the value, and then the other 2 in the back, let's draw circles. So this is our potentiometer right here. The one we're connecting right now, this top one, is going to read the value, and it's going to send it to the computer. The other 2 are going to be a plus and a minus voltage. The minus one, we're just actually going to send it to the ground, and then the plus one, we're going to send it to 5 volts. Cool. So let's connect them now. So we're going to connect the red one to the right side and the blue one to the left side. It does not matter which colors or which ways you connect them in, as long as the 2 in the back are different from the one in the front. So what we're going to do now is we're going to grab our Arduino, and if you see really closely on these letters, we can see that there's a G and D right here. You see that G and D? And we're going to connect one of the back 2 wires. We're going to connect the ground one right here. So we're going to connect one of the back wires to the ground. And we'll connect it like this. And we're going to connect the second one. We're going to connect the red one, which is also connected to the back. We're going to connect the red one to the 5 volts. And right here, you can see that there's a 5 volt pin, which I've connected the blue one to actually on accident. So we're just going to connect the red one. Again, it does not matter which one you connect it to. We're going to connect the red one to ground. Now we're going to connect the white one to the A0 pin. We're going to go into how to code this in just a bit. And the A0 pin is where it's going to be sending the information. The 5 volt and the ground inputs cannot read information right now. We're just going to be focusing on the A0. Cool. Our circuit is complete. So now we have our Arduino connect to our breadboard, and now we're going to connect Arduino to my computer. So before I connect it to my computer, I'm gonna have to connect it via cable, and this cable plugs in right here, and then the USB goes into the computer. Okay, now that I'm on the computer, I'm just gonna show you the code and explain it to you. And this serial begin tells us the data transfer rate. This is a standard number, 9600. I recommend not messing with this part. I'm just moving on to the next part. We're going to initiate a variable called sensor value. And this is going to basically, what analog read means is it's basically going to read the information coming from A0. And you might recall from earlier that A0 is the pin we connected the middle cable to. This serial print line function is going to look at this variable we just created, the sensor value, and it's going to print it onto the command window. And I just put a little delay here so we don't get too much information. And right here, the code is done. However, if you want to see it in a graph, I'll go into this later, but I just added these 4 lines right here to make a graph look better when we're looking at a graph. So now after we're done with the code, we're going to click verify to make sure there's nothing wrong with our code, and we're going to send it to the Arduino. So now after we're done with the code, we can just click upload. After we click upload, it should be on the Arduino. And to run our code, okay, cool. So now we have our code into our Arduino, and what's happening? So how do we see what's happening? So let's go back to our computer, and let's go to Tools, Serial Plotter, and then let's make this full screen. So there's a straight line right now, but if I try changing this little, if I try turning the knob right here, we can see that the graph is changing. And what this is doing is it's reading different values coming out from the middle cable. So yeah, that's it for today's video. I hope you learned something new today. I'm sure I did. So yeah, just comment down below if you learn anything new, or if you want to tell me any troubleshooting about this project. I'd be glad to hear from it. Thank you so much and have a good one.